All right. We are live directly from the Golden One Center. The Sacramento Kings lost tonight 121 to 115 in overtime. The Golden One Center was rocking. People came with energy. There's a lot of Warrior fans as well, so you had the back and forth, which you love in a very healthy manner, unlike during the playoffs where, if y'all remember, I did have a bunch of idiot Warrior fans trying to instigate fights, and then Kings fans would respond, and Warrior fans ended up getting kicked out. That it was like two idiots. But we didn't see none of that. I didn't see none of that tonight. It was just basketball, normal trash talk going back and forth, cheering from both sides. That was pretty fun. And the fact that they went into overtime and how Jordan Ford, local kid, got the bucket to send the game to overtime. That was super fun to watch, and I'm happy for Jordan. They didn't win the game, but there were a lot of positives in that first quarter where there was a new member in that starting five. His name is Chris Duarte. We'll get into all of that as well. We're going to play some of the sound bites from Coach Brown, from De'Aaron Fox, and I think from Keon Ellis as well, who had about 3 threes in the span of like 2 minutes, I think, or probably even like 50 seconds. I forget, but he had a hell of a game as well. And that was fun to watch and see how he's progressing as a basketball player, how much he's improved from last year to this year, to those types of things. But before we get into all of that, man, huge shout out to Medici Sacramento, right across the Golden One Center, the best pizza in Sacramento. I can look you in the eye and tell you straight up, man, this is the best pizza in Sacramento. My guy, Danny, always taking care of all his customers, man, so I highly recommend them. Before and after basketball games, there's also a new steakhouse, literally in the same vicinity, a few feet away, and that's Butcher and Barrel. I believe it's going to end up being the best steakhouse in all of Sacramento, and it's right next to Golden One Center as well. It doesn't get any better than that. Elite steaks, elite, different types of foods that you may not be accustomed to. Lots of great dishes in terms of pork. There's just so much. There's just so much, from desserts to the creme brulees to the whiskeys. There is a ton of high quality stuff at Butcher and Barrel. Make sure you guys check them out and you tell them the Cowbell Kingdom sent you guys. So I'm super excited for them. Y'all got to definitely check them out and support your local businesses, man. The Hard and Olodoko, y'all got to support. That's how this economy gets better, right? By supporting your local restaurants, your local businesses. That truly matters. Let's get to the game. De'Aaron Fox showed up. Domantas Sabonis showed up. We know that those two, they're all NBA players. We love what they did last year. I'm not saying they got to be a lot better this year, but they got to be a little bit better this year. They have to show some improvements in the areas of weaknesses where we saw during the playoffs. We saw Sabonis literally could not hit anything. He was getting out rebounded at times, a lot of it, not all his fault, because defense was just awful. There was no physicality whatsoever. What did Monty McNair do during the summer, during the offseason? He went out, he traded for Chris Duarte, who was a physical defender. We're already seeing that in Game 3 of the preseason. We saw that in Game 1 and Game 2. Tonight at home at Golden One Center, we saw why he made his debut in the starting lineup. Now, I'm not 100% sure that he's going to start on opening night, but Coach Brown definitely sent a message not just to Kevin Herder, but to the entire team. They got to be more physical. They weren't physical last year. They had moments of physicality where they were good, but in order to bring it all together and get past the first round, you have to be very meticulous with the small things in basketball, right? The boxing out the GBT2s, right? The Gary Payton, the second. Boxing out the Andrew Wiggins, those second chance points, those 50-50 balls. You need guys to box out. And I pointed out on Twitter. I said, there are a lot of things that fans don't see, because fans, it's supernatural to just always gravitate to where the ball is at. But if you start watching what certain guys do and don't do off the ball, it'll really open your eyes and give you perspective on why certain guys earn the trust of a basketball coach, of a coaching staff. And I believe Chris Duarte, in a small amount of time, has already earned the trust of the coaching staff. Again, I'm not 100% sure that he starts on opening night, but the fact that he started tonight and how De'Aaron Fox raved about him, how Mike Brown raved about him. Yes, he got hurt, he got necked up on the knee, but that's part of basketball. That's part of being a physical defender. Now, he's more than that. You know, not last year, but the year before, y'all understood how high I was on him. He's a 3-level scorer. He can shoot the ball from the 3. He can hit the mid-range shot, and he can attack the basket. He's a very good slasher as well. He cuts off the weak side very well. He never stops moving, which is a great thing. He cuts off the weak side, which is something that Sabonis loves to hit, right in the mid-post when they're running their split-cut action. So you can already see the chemistry they already had at Indiana, and now they just picked up where they left off. And you got to love that, because those are things that you can teach sometimes. Either you have it or you don't. And those two have a great connection. Those two really get along because they have a good feel for the game. They know when to cut, not just running around wasting energy. And again, Chris Duarte is an older guy. He came into the league as a super old rookie. You know, I think he's older than Kevin, if I'm being honest. Sorry, not being honest, but if I'm not mistaken, I think he is older than Kevin Herder by like maybe a year or maybe a little bit less, but he doesn't have the NBA experience in terms of NBA minutes as a Kevin Herder, because Kevin Herder's played big time minutes with Atlanta, and he played a lot of minutes last year with the Kings. But Chris Duarte, man, better defender already. I think he's a better slasher. I think he's a guy that's better at attacking the rim than Kevin Herder. I said this last year, you know, Kevin was one of the worst defenders on the team. I feel like coach has already seen that in practice, which is why he had to make the change right off the bat and send the message. So, you know, let me know what you guys think about that in the comments below. Sorry, Basketball says, nah, Kevin is better. I mean, better is relative in the sense of what? Like, yes, he's Kevin Herter is an elite shooter, right? Nobody can take that away from him. He's a super smart guy, but he's just soft. Kevin Herder is soft. That's just the way it is. He was a no-show in the playoffs. He's just awful. He was just awful in the playoffs. The coach is looking for physicality. It makes a lot of sense. I do like the fact that if he does go to the bench, it really solidifies that bench unit. Obviously tonight the shots didn't fall. That's normal, it's preseason. But the fact that you can put out Kevin, Malik Monk, Davion Mitchell, and either a combination of Sasha or Trey with JaVale, who didn't play tonight, that's pretty good, because you got shooting all over the court, right? And you got a rim protector right there. And if you choose to go with tonight's lineup with the combination of both Sasha and Trey, you got a ton of offense, you got a ton of shooting. They got so many open shots today, it was ridiculous. Like, as a defense, what do you do on those handoffs with Sasha or with Trey? Both guys are lights out shooters, right? Both guys are smart players. Yeah, they're 6'9", and defensively, they're not very good as a unit, and it showed tonight, because once the starters went out in that first quarter, when they were up 38-25, I think, you saw a different physicality on defense. You just saw a completely different unit. So the question is, can they be so good on offense that they get away with their awful defense as a bench unit? Obviously, you can't get away with that as your starting lineup, right? As starters. But your bench is supposed to sustain leads or get you ahead a little bit or not get you in the hole, right? Bring the energy, bring some scoring off the bench. I think that second unit with Kevin in it, if it does happen that way, I think that could work very well for the Kings. Like super well for them. Again, people love results. They didn't shoot the ball well, but they got quality shots. Like that offense is so beautiful to watch. Even in those misses, just like, damn, like they were so open tonight. They just missed them. And you're going to have nights like that, right? And that's where you lean on your defense. But it's preseason. And, like people got to just pump the brakes. It's preseason. If the starters had to play, they would have blown this team out. Let's be honest. Like the Kings would have killed them, especially without Steph out there. But it was a great atmosphere. Just overall, I think it was a fun night. It was entertaining towards the end of the game. It was an ESPN game, so a lot of people outside of Sacramento, outside of Oakland, San Francisco, the Bay Area, they got to watch a very fun first quarter, in my opinion, where De'Aaron Fox, Sabonis was just a monster tonight. Another double-double. I mean, that's just what the guy does, right? Sabonis is just a beast, and tonight he was hitting threes. And if that man is hitting threes, what do you do as a defense? You really can't give the Kings anything at that point, because right now you're banking on the fact that he misses shots, right, like he did in the playoffs. But if he's hitting the three-point shot the way he was today, which again is not realistic, but if he does hit 38% of those shots on 5 attempts a game, four or 5 attempts a game, the shot's gonna be there. So if he hits it at 38%, the league's in trouble. The league's in trouble because at that point you have to guard him. If you guard him, he's gonna blow by you if you're a big man. And if he does, then he's going to drop it off, like, if they rotate. It's just, if he starts to hit that shot at a consistent rate, just like De'Aaron Fox, it just unlocks everything else. Everything else. And he already does everything so well. So that's just an added element to what they do. The X factor, though, is Keegan Murray. I mean, this kid is so good. He's so ahead of where I thought he would be. And I'm going to say right now, I think I was wrong about him. I didn't think he'd be this good this fast. I didn't think he'd be what he is today, which is more than just a stretch four. Like, the kid can actually play multiple positions. He's a better defender than what I gave him credit for. He's long. He's not bad laterally. He definitely put on at least 10 pounds of muscle. You can see it in his game. Guys try to post him up. They struggled. I'm loving what I see from Keegan, man. Keegan is just a lights-out shooter, scorer. Like, the kid can score on all 3 levels. Like, it's insane how he just put it all on display. Like, in college, he had a post-up game, which we really even haven't seen any of that yet, right? Because they haven't given him post-up opportunities, because that's not how the Kings play. But he has that in his game. We saw it in college. What we didn't see in college is how he gets to the rack at a high clip now. He can scoop it with the left, scoop it with the right, finish with a nice finger roll at the rim. He's doing things like a traditional wing would. Like, he's taking dudes off the dribble now, which was his weakness, and he's converting. He's already one of the best shooters in the world. So if you put that together, I mean, we're talking borderline all-star. At that size, it's crazy to truly see what he could become. The internal growth of this team really, really comes down to what Keegan does this season and in future seasons, because he could be the guy that's like your big 3, right? You already got 2 foundational blocks in Fox and Sabonis. You add Keegan to that. Jesus, like that is going to be scary, And he has to do it throughout the season. He got a lot of people talking, people that are cleaning the arena right now. But yeah, that's going to be fun if Keegan turns on the Jets, man. I saw a lot of bad. I mean, people in the comments on Instagram where it's popping right now. A lot of people calling out Davion Mitchell. Again, I wouldn't put too much stock into this game. You know, Davion's going to give you what Davion gives you, which is elite defense on the perimeter. That's just what he does. He's going to heckle you. He's going to guard you 90 feet. That's just what he does, right? The big question is, can he finally start hitting shots at a high clip? Can he hit 38% of his three-point attempts? The shot looks better. He worked on a shot a lot during the offseason. He's going to get a ton of those open looks because Sabonis draws so much attention. Fox draws so much attention. So if he wants to stay on the floor and contribute 20 minutes a night, he needs to be able to hit that shot. He needs to be able to hit that shot because if he doesn't, the Kings are so deep, man, especially at guard, right? And now if Kevin's coming off the bench, you probably put Malik at the point because now Malik and McGee, they have that connection in the pick and roll. And we already know that he's an excellent pick and roll player in Malik Monk. So Davion hasn't proven that. Davion, to me, is not a good passer. He's a small guy who doesn't really see over the defense, who struggles with length. But then he gives everybody a hell on defense. He can guard anybody. I'm not worried about him on defense. But when you play in this offense, you have to be able to shoot the basketball. There's just no ways about it. You have to be able to shoot the basketball. And you cannot shoot 29%, 31%, 32%. You got to hit at least 36% of your shots, especially in this defense, in this offense. What have you seen regarding the Kings this season? I mean, it's preseason, so I don't think anything really excites me. Nothing. I'm going to wait. Like I said, we can point out what they've done in the offseason. They kept the same team, so there's continuity there. They added some pieces like Chris Duarte, Sasha, the European MVP, who is a lights-out shooter, so you added more shooting to a team that was already elite offensively, the best offense in basketball. So you definitely got better offensively. The question still is, you got to get that defensive star wing. You need an OG type of player that just can not even lock the other team's best player, but make it very difficult. Chris is a good player. Chris isn't a lockdown defender. He's a physical defender, which, again, is going to cause fouls, right? So let's hope he's not in foul trouble. I mean, I wouldn't consider him an elite defender. I mean, he's physical. Physical doesn't always mean great or good. I do think he's a good defender, though. I do think he's a good player. But you need more than that if your goals are to win a championship. And Mike Brown talked about that already. If you're not playing for a championship, what are you playing for? If you're not all in to win the whole thing, why are you playing, right? And you already have 2 All-Stars. There's no reason why they shouldn't think this way. I mean, you were a top 3 seed last year. Kept the same team. You added some pieces, so you got better. You have the continuity there. You have a great head coach. You have a great GM. You have the best fans in the NBA. I mean, y'all saw it tonight. It was a preseason game, and it was damn near a sellout. And y'all saw the atmosphere till the very end. Where else do you see this? So, yeah, there's still moves to be made, but I think they're headed in the right direction. I really do. And when your head of the snake is De'Aaron Fox, I feel pretty confident. And that dude is so good. And even tonight, Andrew Wiggins, is Andrew, then it was Kuminga. He literally tried to post up Fox and did not move him a single inch. It was so crazy. It's Kuminga's big, and he's physical, and he was killing everybody. as soon as he tried to post up Fox, he was like, what the, like, he ain't moving. He didn't move him. He didn't back him down one time. And then they were laughing like, damn, like, you strong. And Fox is just like smacked him in the butt, like, yeah, I know. Like, bro, I'm strong. Like, Fox is a grown man. So that was cool to see. High floor, but mess ceiling. Kevin's liability on defense and three-point shooting is not there. I don't know if Steph or CP wasn't playing, but man, Fox had clamps. His defense is looking really good. I mean, Fox is a special player, man, especially now with a guy like Mike Brown who holds him accountable. It's different, right? The accountability was never there for De'Aaron. The stability was never there for De'Aaron. I always say this, and we'll continue to say, what a blessing it was for him to get Mike Brown. We just set him straight. The talent was always there. He just needed that stability, right? And they gave it to him. And now we're seeing a beast of a player. We're seeing it. So I love it. I love it. Let's check out what De'Aaron had to say after the game about Chris Duarte.
I think it was good. I think offensively, defensively, especially in the first quarter, I think getting to the paint, being able to spread the ball out, just getting open looks, if it was at the rim or if it was a three. I think all in all, I think the first quarter was good, and after that, we much better.
Fox, where do you see? I mean, did this feel like any added weight to it, even though it's a preseason game? You're gonna get them so many times in this first quarter.
I feel like added weight? No, not at all. If anything, we know that we're going to see them so many times in the first few weeks of the season. No, it's not added weight.
Yeah, and then just what was your observation of just how Duarte fit in with that group?
I mean, I think what he does for us is good. He shoots the ball so well. He really score the ball. And defensively, he's really getting after. He's being physical, trying to keep the ball in front of him, communicating. He's doing everything that we need. And he's been really good out there with us.
Yeah, you guys got off to a hot start. You mentioned what it's like playing with Chris in the first game. What do you feel like, from your perspective, went wrong after that?
I think we weren't moving the ball. The ball wasn't popping and flying around the way that it was at the beginning of the game. So that's on us. That's something that's easily fixable. But just continue to play the right way, play the way that we know that we can play, and I think it just makes the offensive end so much easier for us.
Those were the words from De'Aaron Fox. Let's see what Coach had to say.
I thought our physicality really showed in the first quarter. I thought defensively we were pretty good in a lot of areas. On top of being good defensively, in that first quarter, I thought, our ball movement, spacing, ball reversals, our paint touches for sprays, our pace, getting off the ball in a timely manner, all really good. We scored 38 points in that first quarter and did a decent job of holding them to 25. And then, from there, I thought that we lost our focus a little bit defensively. They had 42 free throws. I think that Jonathan Kuminga had as many free throws as us.
That was crazy, by the way.
And he made more than us. So one player on the team got to the free throw line and made more than us. And I know we fouled some, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay if somebody's making a backdoor cut, we stand them up, or somebody's cutting through the paint, we stand them up, or we're aggressive in the screen, but kind of bumping a guy off the route. What disappoints me about their free throw attempts, there were too many times where we were on a guy's hip while he was driving. We just reached. Or we closed out to the ball or rotated to the ball and led with our hands. And we can't do that. That's the only part that I'd like to take away from tonight defensively is when we reached and or led with our hands. We got to go vertical, take a hit in the chest, or take a charge. And I know there were at least 2 times where we could have tried to go vertical or tried to take a charge, and it's probably a couple more, and we just flat out moved out the way. And again, talk about physicality, that's part of it. And that was disappointing to see. We did do some good things though, like I said, especially that first group. Our guys figured out how to fight, kind of get back in the game, and in the second half when we were down and descended to overtime, just got to give Golden State credit for hitting bigger shots down the stretch than we did. But it all started with our reaching and getting to the free throw line 42 times, but getting the same amount of free throws as us.
Yeah, Mike, number one, do you have any update on Chris? And number two, how did you feel like he looked with the first unit out there?
Yeah, so good news. Our medical group already did an MRI on him, which came back clean. He has a small bone bruise, but like I said, the MRI is good. It's clean.
Mike, can you talk a little bit about what you were seeing from?
I'm sorry. And then the second question, I thought he was really. Sorry about that, Jay. I thought he was really good with that starting group in that first quarter. I thought defensively he was really good, and I thought offensively he played the right way. I thought our physicality really showed.
Yeah, Coach liked what he saw. Coach liked what he saw, and so did I, right? I like what I saw. I like the fact that he can score all three levels, especially before those injuries. Like his rookie year, he was really good. Sabonis was with him. He got injured, and he just hasn't been the same. But this is his opportunity to really, really take advantage and make a name for himself. Like, this is a great opportunity for Chris Duarte on this team, one of the best offenses ever, to come in and do what he already does. Do what he already does very well. Chris Duarte can bring the physicality defensively and contribute offensively. It doesn't get any better than that. So we'll see what happens there in terms of if he starts on opening night. If he doesn't, he's still going to make the coaches think about it because he's a good player. Kevin's a good player. And at the end of the day, as I told fans, the fact that even if Kevin starts, he's looking over his shoulder like there's real competition here. And anytime you have guys pushing each other, that's only going to make you better as an individual, and it's only going to help the team as a whole. So why would you not want really good competition? I don't know if you guys remember, Bobby Jackson, Mike Bibby. Y'all better believe Mike was always looking over his shoulder because Bobby Jackson was a stud. Yeah, he was a sixth man of the year, and Mike understood that if he didn't play the way he did, Bobby would take his spot. So anytime you have true competition like that, man, it's only going to push you and make you better. So I love it. I truly do. So whether or not he starts or he finishes or any of those things, man, good competition, having multiple good players is always a good thing for any team. So, yeah, Duarte starting isn't a bad idea. It really, I mean, it was funny because who was I telling? I think it was Ty. No, it was Chai. He had asked me when we were hooping, and I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Chris started. And people looked at me like crazy. I was like, it's not crazy. Y'all forget how good this dude was his rookie year. And the fact that he's healthy finally, and then he gets, injured today. But the MRI is clean, so that's all that matters. It's just a bone bruise. It might take him a few days. Might miss the next 2 games. Who cares? The reality is he'll be ready for opening night, right? Whether he starts or doesn't, he's a good player, man, and the Kings needed that. Colby, though. Colby is a player. Yes, Derek. Cody's like he could be a good player. Reminds me of Duarte, too. Yeah, he's a better playmaker. The kid can play. He really reminds me of Derek White. Like, the guy has a floater. He can get to the rim. He's a big point guard. He's a guy that can play off the ball as well because he cuts so well. He facilitates well. He's just a basketball player. Like this is a smart IQ dude who the Kings drafted in the second round, who's a little bit older and who understands it, who gets it, has a good feel for the game. He is a player, and there's a reason why they actually signed him to a real NBA contract. Like I think he was the highest paid second round pick ever to get a contract like that from the Kings. I think it's a multi-year deal. There's a reason, because they know he can play. And every time he goes into the game, you're like, damn, like, this guy belongs, right? It's going to be really hard to find minutes for him this year. But if he stays on the team, or if we, send him back and forth from Stockton to the team just to keep him fresh. And injuries happen during the year, right? But this kid can play, and they got something there. I mean, whether it's this year, if injuries happen, or next year, he's going to be better he's going to even be better next year. So I'm excited about Colby Jones, man. That kid's a player. So the Kings definitely, shout out to Monty and the entire front office for scouting him and just pulling the trigger, right? Like, the kid can play. Duarte can get easy shots from Fox and Sabonis, possibly from Keegan too. I like Colby pick because if he works out, then it makes Monk, Herder, and Duarte expendable, 100%. 100%. That's what good teams do. They understand how to draft well. End of the first, early second, late second, undrafted players. Like, that's what good teams do. And that's something that I haven't said in a long time about the Kings, right? Kings are a good team now. There's a lot of structure. There's accountability. And they have a GM that I trust, that he goes out, he scouts. He doesn't care what people think. You drafted Keegan. I think it's going to work out really well, better than what I thought, honestly. Like, I knew he was good, but I didn't think he'd be this good. So, kudos to him for sticking to the plan and just going through with it. But yes, Colby is a player. I can't wait to see how he develops. Keon Ellis had a lot of good moments tonight. I know he's older in terms of NBA experience. I don't think he's a better player than Colby. And that's saying a lot, because Keon is solid and he played really well tonight, but he's not a better basketball player than Colby. He's just not. He's a better defender, but he's not a better player. Do you see Sasha getting in rotation over Trey or McGee, or how do you think Mike Brown will play the cards there? It just depends on matchups. I think it's going to dictate who they play every single night. You're going to see a lot of the lineup tonight where you see Sasha and Trey together, right? And especially if they're hitting shots, because that's a dangerous ass lineup. Both of those dudes on dribble handoffs are just so lethal because they can both shoot, they can both attack the rim, right? And then they can kick it out to open guys, or they can be stationed there and allow Malik to break down the defense, and they're waiting for a shot. They both can cut. So offensively, they're very dangerous. Defensively is where they will struggle. But if they're hitting threes, it doesn't matter. That's your bench. That's what you're bringing the bench for, to score and get buckets and sustain leads, right? Again, it's going to be a night-to-night thing. Yes, they're going to attack him. He's not a good defender. He's slow. He gets very good position, though. He's a very good rebounder. So there's things that he does well, for sure. But teams will definitely attack him, and it's normal. I would too. So there's pros and cons of having him out there. He's just a lights-out. This guy is a sniper, man. Sasha is a sniper. This dude can flat-out shoot the ball. The draft was so deep. There are many players picked in the second round who will shine. Yeah, especially like you said, if you have a good front office that knows how to scout players. The Raptors are notoriously known for that. The Kings aren't known for that, but it seems like the tide is changing, right? It's progressively getting better, and that's all we can ask for here in Sacramento. But yeah, man, I can't wait. We're a few weeks away 2 weeks away, I think. Yeah, 2 weeks away from opening night. I can't wait, man. I think it's going to be a very good season. I really do. And let's just see what happens. I'm loving what I'm seeing from Keegan. I'm loving it. Like, damn, like he's so much better than what I thought he would be. You know, I love the fact that they traded for Chris Duarte. Let's see what happens, man. Tonight the Kings lose 121 to 115. It's preseason. You take the good with the bad and you try to apply the good stuff and you throw away the bad stuff and you just learn from it and you continue to get better and you continue to try and stay physical defensively because that is the key to your season this year. You have to be able to get stops, timely stops. Your offense will be fine. As long as you have De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis, your offense will be fine. It's defensive end where if you show that growth, you can take the next step as an organization this season. So, see what happens, man. Trey looked good for a real late second rounder. For real, that bank shot he almost made when he heaved it at the end. The shot clock was crazy. Yeah, guys, appreciate it. You know, for the people that watch this after as well. Again, we haven't had a show besides media day, and before that it was like 2.5 months, 3 months. So I understand how the algorithm works. They hate it when you take big breaks. Obviously, we had to take a break because we got so busy on the marketing side of things, right? Where we have a ton of clients now, which is good, thank God. It's booming. Business is booming right now, which is always good. But we're back on the basketball grind as well, and we're back at Golden One Center. It's the best arena in the world, best fans in the world, man. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. Make sure you guys continue to like, share, and subscribe. Hit us up on Instagram as always. You know, I'm always in the DMs talking to people if they have questions. If there's time, I will engage with you 100%. That's just what I do. I enjoy talking basketball with NBA fans. So, yeah, man, appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. On behalf of the entire CK family, Basketball Zone family, I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.